My name is Jason Willett. I run this record shop, The True Vine. I'm a musician, play in a lot of different bands, Half Japanese, Leprechaun Catering, and then anything else that might pop up as an idea. True Vine came from a song called I Am the True Vine, and it's like a gospel song. Many times people think we're a religious institution. I get mail addressed to the pastor of the True Vine, and people call asking for gospel, and I could tell that they think that that's all we sell. Like, this is a Christian music store. If you look up True Vine, if you Google it, you'll see many, like mostly all religious institutions and us. I've always felt, ever since I can remember, that there are limitations in this world, and I want to find ways to expand those limitations as much as I possibly can. And I get a lot of that satisfaction through music. I was eating dinner with my wife Kirsten in Hampden, and I got up from the table and I looked out the window, and then it just occurred to me that Hampden had not had a record store before, and I thought that maybe it's time to do that again. I think the reason why shops like the True Vine can continue where a lot of chain record shops have ended is because you can, if you're not going to give somebody much more of an experience than what they can get by downloading the music, then I think that people feel, well, why should I walk or drive to another location and go out of my way to buy music from people who don't really care? It's just a job to them. And so the places that do care, the places where you can make friends, places where you can get good stories and get information that maybe you can't even get from anywhere in the internet, you know, that is beyond what you can replace with a download.
Hey, Bob, is that the way you move? Gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. Child, when you shake that thing, gonna make you burn, gonna make you sting.
I always love seeing that when somebody figures it out and they say, oh, this is the kind of place that I want to, like, now continue searching for music. Like, I can't believe that, you know, that my only world was what was available in these big, you know, commercial spaces. It happens a lot. I see it a lot with, you know, people like teenagers come in here. Sometimes I even get very young people who come in here who feel like they're oversaturated with the internet. And when they come here, they feel like it's almost like an oasis from that. I'm not saying I don't use the internet or we don't have a computer here, but it's a minor thing. It's just a tool. You know, it's not like a real place. To me, it's just a tool. It's like a screwdriver or a pair of scissors.
Go with the better deal, I'll show you a true side. Go with each new meal, make it feel. Land a fat can and do, ran the better deal. No time for silence, we are we. We will commence, you will see. Sweet as cherry, good as gold. We are merry, or so I've been told. Sweet cranberry from far from old. Breathe the area, or so I've been told. You're snow, my head.
There are too many places in the world for me that are where people are running businesses and they're not inspired, or they're miserable, or they're jaded, or they're bitter or judgmental. And I don't like the way that feels. So I don't want to add more of that in the world. In fact, it makes me want to add the opposite to the world, of that to the world. To be a supplementary force rather than a redundant force. If the, if it became mainstream to be joyous and to be empathetic, then I'm ready to be a mainstream person. But since that isn't mainstream, I'm going to be this subversive, loving person. In fact, there have been times where people have talked to me, customers, and they ask me about what it's like running the shop, and I tell them how little money I make. But then I'll say something like, but I'm really happy because there's a lot of love in my life. More than once, that person will come back to me before they leave the shop and say, what you were saying about love earlier, you were being sarcastic, right? And I'll say, no, not at all. It's kind of hard for them to believe. But I think that it's very, very important for people to not get swept away by the negativity in the world and end up adding to it and making it a stronger force. I think rebelling against it with love and empathy for other people and keeping yourself inspired is incredibly important. So that's why I want this shop to stay here as long as possible, so that that force can be in this world for people. Till the day I die, hopefully. That is actually the core computer. That is the main brain.
Okay.
We have different terminals, but this is, yes, the main core. And
You got Angry Birds on there?
oh yeah, I've heard of that. No,
Okay,
no. I mean that's all it does.
cool.
But that's more than enough.